So, Dan, we heard a summary of your skills and competence in every trade, and you're able to design projects as well. Can you give us a few bullet points or some info or highlights of your career?
The earliest thing I remember was uh, when, a little bit after the Cuban Missile Crisis, um, my dad noticed that I was digging a fort under his porch, which had about an 8-inch concrete slab and concrete block walls. And he realized that I was actually creating a bomb shelter. So he started paying me I think it was a nickel a bucket, could have been a quarter. And I was probably 12 when I did that. Oh yeah, I was in Cub Scouts when we remodeled my dad's house. So I did a kitchen remodel and 2 bathroom remodels with my dad. And so the way he would find out what to do was we'd go to the supply house and he'd just ask a few questions and then we'd go try it. And we'd just keep coming back to him and learning what we had to learn to do any of these things. So for me, that's child's play. That's what you do. The idea that, this could be something that actually pays bills had not occurred to me. In terms of homes, my first real job was where summer break, age 15, we get a job at minimum wage, $1.86 an hour, to frame houses. So most of it was pre-done, and we were just nailing it together by hammer. And so without nail guns, we were building a house faster than once a week. Yeah, so the underwater construction came in after my first year of college. I had a college break, summer break, and I had always wanted to do, since 3rd grade, I wanted to be a hard hat diver doing Jacques Cousteau kinds of underwater missions, and that's what my childhood fantasies were. So it looked like I was going to go out on a fishing boat, but then instead I took this diver training. And the thought behind that was, well, they say, minimum wage was maybe up to $2, and they say $100 an hour for an underwater welder. So I trained in underwater welding and under Navy divers, very much the same training as in Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. Very exciting stuff and a lot of fun. And I decided that I would apply for what was available in the Baltimore area, and it was an underwater pipeline to Aberdeen Proving Ground, chemical weapons, I believe. And we built an underwater pipeline, and I was topside foreman in charge of the divers. I mean, that's what I accomplished in the 70s. So we're talking about a kid. That's what the kid did. In the 80s, I was a general contractor, remodeling buildings in Baltimore and Washington from scratch, top to bottom, remodeling with doing the plumbing, the electric, and every aspect of it, generally with a helper. In the 90s, I was building houses from scratch, mostly framing. I did get to do some pretty interesting things like I'd learned custom cabinetry in India, and I got to do some pretty interesting projects in the 90s. Eventually I got to where I was detailing some of the nicest high-end houses in Pacific Palisades, and custom cabinetry from scratch and things of that kind. So, there was a little bit that happened between, being a 20-year-old or building tree houses and getting to larger projects. And so now what I want to do is put a product on the market that really changes the market. As in, I want to market houses that show that a house can be done much more quickly, much more efficiently, and much more cost effectively than what's out there. And part of it involves in taking it back to simplicity and basics, but that doesn't mean that the designs can't be cutting edge designs. They can be, they don't have to be.